When you think about Aspen, it's easy to get caught up in its high-end shops, restaurants, and premier skiing. It's Colorado's little slice of the glamorous Hollywood lifestyle. But just 2 miles from downtown, Aspen is about as Colorado as it gets.
You can look quite a ways in every direction and you will not see another building.
Graham Means and fellow members of the Hunter Creek Historical Foundation have been hiking the Hunter Creek Valley above Aspen for over 50 years.
Wandering in the mountains and seeing the old cabin, I just wondered about who lived there, what they were doing, how they existed.
Those answers would come from the earliest days of Aspen's history.
The story begins with two men, Henry Statz and William C. Koch.
Two men drawn by the promise of riches from silver.
Henry Statz came over to make his fortune underground. William Koch prospered here by doing work above the ground.
Koch would set up a dairy and lumber operation here, providing needed resources to the fast-growing mining town below.
A community of 8,000 to 10,000 people at one point, and so they needed lots of supplies.
Koch left Aspen in 1896, setting his sights on the timberlands of British Columbia. His ranch and lands continued to provide for the town below.
These fields were irrigated, and so those who followed him grew hay. And then in the late 40s and 50s, a family grazed sheep up here for about 10, 15 years.
By the 1960s, the buildings, all that remained of Koch's legacy in the Hunter Creek Valley, sat vacant. Soon, developers drawn to Aspen by promises of riches of the ski slopes set their eyes on the valley. The buildings stood in their way.
The community, old-timers, organized, and they organized so effectively and made such a unified voice that they got an act of Congress passed.
That act transferred the Hunter Creek Valley to the National Forest Service. The buildings would be protected from developers, but not from the elements.
We're at 8,800 feet up here. There's a lot of snow. A lot of people lamented, oh, we're losing these buildings. And for 40-something years, nobody did anything about it. And finally, a few of us just said, you know, we got to make an effort to save these buildings. We had to dig out about 18 inches of soil.
The Historical Foundation got to work, contracting with HistoriCorps to stabilize and restore the blacksmith shop.
This is all original material.
But that's just the first step of a long, uncertain process.
Because there are about 5 or 6 buildings we're looking at potentially, and now we're looking at phase 2, which would be the restoration of the roadhouse, the metal building we call it.
They expect that to take 2 years and will need to draw heavily on those around them.
The community support that we've enjoyed and seeing these volunteers and their level of excitement and interest makes all the work an adventure for us.
The buildings in their collective combination really created a soul for the Hunter Creek Valley. If the buildings have been let to fall back down into the ground and disappear, then the soul of the valley would disappear too.